Hi everyone, welcome to WIC channel. My name is Rifat. So today, this week, what a crazy week. A bunch of earnings from a lot of companies. I think it was just, crazy. Simply I could put as we had from a lot of companies releasing earnings, like it's from Amazon to Apple. I think and we have more coming next week, but this week was, I would say, an earning frenzy, I would say. So in general, I decided, you know what, why not kind of take the major companies and make and recap the earnings that came out of them, and also kind of put you guys a recap on my predictions as per where the stock would end up, and like to go through all the earnings with you guys and just to highlight the main components. So you guys can have everything in one, so you guys can see all what the details and just to go through them, and I'll give you kind of at the end, I'll give all my opinion about that. So I added to Apple, I took Apple, Facebook, Microsoft, and Amazon. For now, I think it's pretty basic because they're a big market cap, the big dogs, we can say, in technology. I took out Netflix because Netflix was last week, and Google is on Monday, so I did not have them yet for this video. But I just took those four players. I think it was very interesting because we had amazing earnings, but stocks went down. But we had surprises also in them. So kind of very interesting earning results we got this week. So let's get into it. So I'll go to the supercomputer. I kind of added all that into a nice Word file, and we'll go through them together. So I'll be waiting for you guys in the supercomputer. Let's go! Hey guys, so thanks for joining me from the supercomputer. So as you guys can see, I kind of have I'm sharing my screen here. So we'll start off with Facebook as one of them. So let me just kind of adjust here quickly so I make sure you guys can see it. So I'll enlarge a bit. Yeah, this should be good for you guys. There you go. So the revenues came at like 16.91 billion, which were they expecting 16.39 billion. So they kind of beat expectations there. Earnings per share also, they got $2.38 instead of $2.18. Monthly active users stayed pretty much relative to what was expected, which is 2.32 billion. Daily active users went up by small, so it's like instead of the 1.51 billion, they got 1.52 billion. Revenue, when you compare from last year, it's non-comparable, like how much earnings they beat. Like I put a chart here, you get, for instead of 12 billion, they got 16. Earnings per share $2.38 instead of $1.44. So they kind of beat, overall they beat like the earnings, and they got way more than what was expected, right? The reaction of the stocks was very interesting. They just went up. Let me kind of put the Facebook shares here, so you guys can see. Like before the earnings, it was around here, around $144. Then just went all the way $20 up. I would think is like they were not expecting it, because already a lot of news was calculated, bad news was calculated in the stocks, and coming with this kind of amazing earning results, with all this kind of billions of fines and everything, they still were able to kind of, and also they hired a lot of personnel, don't forget, right? With all that, they still were able to grow phenomenally. So they were not expecting the the investors were not expecting that. They were expecting something pretty mediocre, I would say, standard, which was not the case. That's the reason the stock just went through the roof, and they're standing here. So and what's my expectations for Facebook? I would say this is really good earnings. I think like this year, especially 2019, they would still continue to grow. And with these results, they were able to show that even with all this drama that's going on in the company and outside drama and like media, they were still able to focus on the growth, and they're hiring employees a lot and still able to give a good quarter result. That means they're making a lot of money, right? So in general, I'm very bullish as per how they're gonna happen in 2019. I'm very interested to see what will be the outcome of this year with Facebook, right? But yeah, sums it up. I think it's a good result. I think it can be a good. I think it's a good start for 2019 for them, and let's see where it leads. And this was something that I think a lot of people were not expecting in terms of results from this kind of results of earnings they got. So next is Microsoft. Let me just pull out my sheet here. Microsoft revenues came in line, which was 32.5 billion. The earnings per shares were missed. It was $1.08 instead of $1.09, which was expecting. The Azure revenue grew 76%, but it was down from 98% growth, because last year they had a 98% growth year over year on the quarter, and this year they had a 76. So that is kind of a, it's kind of a point that investors were not much happy about. Business and productivity went up 13%, and personal computing also went up by 7%. And you have also the revenue from year over year. Last year they got we can say a 4 billion increase. Earnings per share good also. I mean, it went up instead of even $1.08 instead of 96 cents, which is also good. I would say, like, we can pull up their chart, their 5-day chart. As you can see, the share price didn't move as much because I think people had concern about Azure's growth and their kind of the future on that, and also the results and the earnings were kind of all in line and missed a bit, but it was not something the wow factor. I think it was really a mediocre results of the earnings. So they were so people didn't know where to go. So I think they're kind of staying it as it is, stagnating. I think the next quarters that come, I think that can really enlighten us where is it going to really go. If they release another quarter that's kind of the same, in line and same, nothing really special, it could remain the same or even could go down. But for now, I think they're like playing in the line as what's going to happen. So I would say for me, Microsoft very neutral. I don't know if I'm bullish or bearish, but I would say I'm looking forward to see what will be their next quarter results and what's the development from here to the next quarter. Let's see. Now let's go to our big guy, Apple. Apple, which was very good. I mean, they beat the revenue, 84 billion instead of 83 billion was expecting. Sorry. Earnings per share, $4.18 instead of $4.17. iPhone revenue went down, missed the expectations, they were expecting 52 billion when they got 51. I'm rounding up, I'm not saying the dots. And the services went up. They got 10.9 billion instead of 10.87 billion, so that's pretty good. And the projection is they're aware that kind of pushed the stock, and I think it didn't push the stock as high as it could have gone, I would say. So the projection was kind of in line because they're expecting around 58 billion, but Apple is saying between 55 and 59. So that kind of like, added a bit of caution to the investor area. Revenue, when you see it's kind of down from year over year, right? Earning per share went up because Apple is doing a lot of share buyback. So yeah, that's the reason their earnings per share went up. If not, the revenue you can see is pretty down. So yeah, so let me go to their charts. Let me go to chart here. So as you guys can see, it went up phenomenally, around $10 we can say, because a lot of bad news and a lot of things were already calculated in the stock price, right? They were in the highs of like $230 to they went to 140, right? So it's a huge difference. So I think it's like, for now, it beat expectations, but it also added a caution, but it was kind of better than what people were expecting, and their services are growing. So I think in a way, people were like, okay, it's good. It's kind of good. They beat expectation. Revenue kind of went up better than what they thought. So I think that's the reason that drove the price up, but because they bought a caution for the next quarter, it brought the stock price down. And I mean, sorry, it didn't bring the stock price down. I mean, it didn't push it as high as it could have gone maybe. And I would say, you know, for me, Apple, I'm always kind of being a bit bullish because I think it could go higher. It has a lot of potential. It has a lot of growth area, and I think it's good to see what could be the outcome. I think Apple is a buy anytime, and now it's now more than ever. I would maybe play it out, let the earnings kind of fade out, and maybe jump in a bit later if you guys are interested in buying. Yeah, so this sums it up. So now let's go to the final, the Amazon. Let's kind of bring them up. Amazon is very interesting to see how where they ended up in the share price. So Amazon, the earnings per share beat expectations again. $6 versus $5.68. Revenue beat expectations also, 72.4 billion instead of 71.9. AWS continue their phenomenal growth of 7.43 billion, which beat expectations of 7.3 billion. Revenue year over year is a phenomenal growth, 72 billion instead of 60. Earnings per share, like it tripled, pretty much almost tripled from $6 to $2.16. But after now let's go back to the chart of let's go to the chart of Amazon. As you guys can see, going into the earnings, people were expecting a lot, and after the earnings it dropped. And there was a couple of reasons why it dropped. Because of India, there's a couple of regulations that came in, so which is costing with a bit more investment from Amazon side, which they kind of stated on the conference call. And also the Q1 projections is I mean below expectations what they're predicting, and it's not really how the growth is not there. So people are kind of worried. So they kind of like, okay, maybe they're not growing as much. So they kind of like pulled back a lot, and the conference call kind of gave that off, right? I honestly think I find it funny because a couple of years Amazon, people are like, oh, they're not making a lot of money, they're not getting a lot of earnings per share, but now they're getting earnings per share and people are not loving it, they're complaining. So it's like I don't know, I mean when you see the PE ratio and everything, like I am not a personal person that buys it. I think you can wait if there's a pullback or something if you guys are interested in buying, but I think Amazon is a growth machine. They have a lot of growth ahead of them, and you guys can see they beat earnings, they beat expectations all through the boards. And also and I forgot to mention one of them, another growth area they missed is the in-store. They had a 3% decline on in-store purchase, so which is like Whole Food and everything with 3% discount, 3% not discount, 3% decrease. So that's also another factor that added in, so its stock pulled down. I honestly think like once this kind of earnings finished off, I could predict that maybe it could go up. If not, we'll see how it plans out. I think Amazon is like with the AWS segment advertising, it's just boosting the earnings because they're very high margin kind of businesses, right? That makes a lot of money with less investments, right? So that sums about it for the whole earnings. I kind of added those companies. So let's go to the whiteboard and let's recap the whole video. Hey, welcome back. Thanks for joining me to the whiteboard. So you guys can see, very interesting. We had Facebook that kind of came to us with a surprise. We had Amazon that kind of beat expectations everywhere, but the share price went down because of those couple of things I mentioned. But still, I think the share price going down because of those things doesn't make sense for me. But still, that kind of, you guys can see that surprise over there. You had Microsoft, pretty mediocre, so stayed there. And you had Apple, amazing because the stock price went up with their share price, and their revenue kind of coming up also in a good area and beating kind of expectations on certain stuff. So it's kind of very interesting week. Was a full jam-packed eventful week. Very interesting, and keeps us alive with all this kind of stuff, bro. That's amazing. So that sums about it for the video. I kind of covered a couple of stocks. I just want to say I'm just covering for fun. I don't, because I'm talking about this to buy or bullish or bearish, I'm not telling you guys to go and buy it. Please do your own due diligence, and make your own purchase. This is something I always put emphasis when I will talk about stocks. Please do your own due diligence. Please do your own research. I just kind of recap the whole thing. I think if you guys are interested in buying those stocks, you have to dive deep a bit more. So yeah. So thank you very much for guys watching this video. If you like the video, hit the thumbs up. Subscribe if you guys didn't subscribe, and share, comment, whatever, and also comment. Yeah, I would mention comment. Drop me a comment if you own those shares. If were you guys up? Did you guys buy it in the low? Anything? Just drop a comment. I would love to hear from you guys. So yeah. So thank you very much again for watching, and have a wonderful day.